go ahead.
Okay, so we'll go ahead and get started. I'm going to hit record. And good morning, commissioners. Good morning, everyone. And welcome to the February 18th, 2021 Cumberland County Commissioners virtual workshop meeting. I would note this is a 100% virtual meeting today. If you would, please stand and join me for the Pledge of Allegiance of the flag. And if you would, just make sure that you are muted. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I call this meeting to order at 9:08 a.m. and at this time I open up the floor for public comment. So it looks like we have somebody with the last four digits of the phone number 7627. Do you have public comment to provide? Hello, caller.
Good morning. Can you hear me now? I'm sorry,
Yes.
I think I was muted. Okay, all right. Good morning. This is Jillian Yoder with Cumberland County Housing and Redevelopment Authority.
Oh, hi, Jillian.
Good morning.
We'll be getting to you in a few moments. So thank you. I just didn't quite recognize the phone number. Okay, so hearing none or seeing no public comment, we'll move on to agenda item number 3, and I'll call on Becky Shaw to discuss the consistency with consolidated plan for the Housing Authority. Becky?
Good morning, Commissioners. Each year, the Cumberland County Housing Authority prepares an annual plan for submission to HUD detailing how it will expend its public housing and housing choice voucher program dollars. And part of the PHA plan requires local official certification that the PHA plan is consistent with local consolidated plans. And the county's consolidated plan, prepared every 5 years, identifies affordable housing as a priority need. The availability of housing choice vouchers and public housing within Cumberland County meets this need by providing working families, seniors, and those with disabilities to live in decent, safe, and sanitary housing that is affordable to their families' budgets. The Housing Authority recommends Commissioner approval of this certification of consistency.
Commissioners, do you have any questions for Becky?
No.
Thank you, Becky.
Thank you.
And we'll move on then to agenda item 4, and I'll call on Jillian Yoder to discuss the Cumberland County Emergency Solutions Grant for 2020, an application for additional funds. Jillian? I think, oh, there you are.
Okay, all right, thank you. So as you may recall, Cumberland County received an emergency solutions grant from the Pennsylvania Department of Community and Economic Development last October, to assist those experiencing homelessness throughout our county. We received about $128,650 for various activities. A couple weeks ago, DCED contacted me offering our county an additional $15,000 for emergency shelter activities for the Safe Harbor Shelter case management services there. Although they offered the funds to us, we are still required to go through a formal application process. The funding will be administered by the authority, who will also ensure the county's compliance with a statement of assurances. And if approved by you, the additional funds would be added to our current ESG 2020 contract as an addendum. So I'm requesting the adoption of the resolution authorizing submission of the application to DCD and signature of the statement of assurances at your Monday Board of Commissioners meeting. At this time, I'll be happy to answer any questions that anyone may have.
Any questions for Jillian? Okay.
No.
Thank you so much, Jillian.
Thank you.
All right, I'll move on to agenda item 5, and I'll call on Tammy Bender to discuss the budget resolution 2021-9 regarding a budget adjustment. Tammy?
Good morning, Commissioners. Finance is requesting approval of one budget resolution. It's for 2021 for the Conservation District, their district account. They're increasing expenses and revenues by $335,600. And this is just to establish the budget for a new Conservation Excellence Grant for 2021.
Any questions for Tammy?
No.
Okay, thank you, Tammy. And if you'll just give me a moment, I hit record. Oh, it does say recording. Sorry. The record button was live. All right, so we'll move on then to agenda item number 6, which is contracts and grants. Agenda item 6, Roman numeral 1, A through C, consists of existing contracts, contracts extensions or addenda with no additional cost or increase to the county for aging and community services, Claremont Nursing and Rehabilitation Center, and the Public Safety Department. Commissioners, do you have any questions, comments, or concerns about any of the agreements listed in Roman numeral 1? Okay, we'll move on then to Roman numeral 2, which is new contracts, vendors, services, grants, and contracts with increases or decreases to the county. And I'll start with Kim Bittner and Christine Bowden to discuss aging and community services contracts. Kim and Christine?
Yes, good morning. The first one, Safe Harbor, is to provide bridge housing to homeless individuals. Domestic Violence and Carlisle Cares is to provide emergency shelter services. Maranatha will provide financial case management, counseling services, and Contact Helpline provides information and referral services. And all of these services are provided through the Human Services Block Grant.
The Tender Loving Care services is for personal care services. It's a new provider to help with the shortage we have in providers being able to provide services to the consumers. And is being funded by the Aging Block Grant.
Any questions for Kim and Christine?
No.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
We'll move on then, and I'll call on Jamie Reiber to discuss the agreement for children and youth.
Good morning, Commissioners. This is an addendum to our ABC contract. As I'm sure you're all aware, school has been difficult and our truancy numbers are on the rise. So we had reached out to ABC and they developed a program for us that is working with the families. And actually we're able to get families into this program through using CARES money without actually opening up a case in the agency. So this has been helping to keep some of our open case numbers down as well. But the cost is $250 per participant or family unit if they're all participating together. If it's a split home, then it would be per parent and child. And then there's a $50 administrative fee for all cases that we refer, and they work on setting up regardless of if they follow through with the program or not. So like I said, most of the cases we've been referring have been coming out of the CARES money. Any other ones that we do open for services and use, we'll use our federal, state, and local dollars to pay for.
Thank you, Jamie. Any questions for Jamie? Okay, we'll move on then to the contract with Certified Payments, which is to set up electronic and credit card payments in a number of county offices. Kelly Niederer has actually ironed out a lot of the details with the vendor. Kelly, do you have any details that you'd like to add?
Sure, I'm happy to answer any questions, but the process really started out with us looking for a new vendor because our existing vendor for the county is unable to provide a solution for mobile payments. So we reached out, a group of us, I believe there were 5, I reached out, gathered some data, got information from 7 local banks, and 4 were ultimately asked to present. And the contract that the agreement that we are looking to execute will provide for better pricing for the users, which are the citizens of Cumberland County, enhancements for us in processing with a quicker turn time for receiving our money, along with some safety features. But I'm happy to answer anything more if you would like.
Any questions?
I don't have any questions, but Kelly, thank you. This has been long overdue. And thanks to you that this has happened. So appreciate it.
It was really a group effort. It took Dana, Mark, Stacy, and I to get through this. Vince, I appreciate that. But we are still under an agreement with our current vendor. So the new groups will be added on. And when that expires, we will slowly roll over the other entities when they're out of that agreement.
Yeah, we're really looking forward, I think, to getting this underway.
Yes, thank
there aren't
you.
any other questions. We'll move on then. Thank you, Kelly. We'll move on to Michelle Reiber to discuss the grant award and agreement for victim services. Michelle?
Good morning. There is a grant before you for 2021 and 2022. It's our Rights and Services Act and our Victims of Juvenile Offender. It is for advocates and our ability to provide services, but it is a 2-year grant. This is one that we thankfully get every year, every 2 years.
Any questions on that grant? Okay, go ahead, Michelle.
And I believe the other thing on the agenda is I don't know if it's really a new contract, but we have a West Shore office location for victim services, and the prior owners sold. So Keith Brenneman reworked a contract and the new owner, I believe, signed it. So nothing changed in terms of cost or the extension, how long the contract is good.
Any questions for Michelle? Okay, thank you, Michelle.
Thank you.
I'll move on to GIS, and Mark is actually going to discuss the contract. Mark?
Yeah, I guess I lied, Vince. I am going to participate today. I believe, and I don't, correct me if I'm wrong, Stacy, but I believe this is just the annual maintenance for the Esri software, which GIS uses in 99% of their work for any of the mapping and the software solutions they provide for the county.
Yes. Any questions for Mark? We can certainly get answers before Monday if you have any. Okay. All right. Thank you, Mark. We'll move on then to Holly Sherman to discuss the contract for Daring Consulting Group. Holly?
Good morning, commissioners. This is a new contract with Daring Consulting Group to assist us in further development and delivery of our Leadership Essentials training. In this contract, we will continue the modifications from the pilot program and then a co-facilitation delivery for the spring and fall sessions in 2021.
Any questions for Holly? All right. Thank you, Holly. I'll next call on Kirk Stoner to discuss 3 contracts for liquid fuels finance.
Sure, commissioners, the first, there are a series of change orders with Developmental Incorporated. That's our contractor for the Orrs Bridge project. Don't be concerned by the number of change orders. This is an end of the project, typical routine for projects as we see quantities increase and decrease. For the series of change orders there, 1, 5, 6, 7, 8, 13, 15, 16, 17, and 18, actually results in a contract price decrease of about $78,000. The second change order with Developmental Incorporated is change order number 9 for $29,784. And that is a contract increase. That's a cost incurred by removing the remnants of a rock ledge that was at Orrs Bridge, and this was done at the direction of DEP. So that is an increase on that project. The other one for low bar site development, that is with our Kunkel Bridge project. It's a series of change orders. Will be increased the project price by about $50,000. The reason for the change orders there, we're having issues with our construction out there, especially with our micro piles. where we needed to go a lot deeper than originally anticipated due to geology out there. We've had to put more grout into a number of the holes, which was a substantial expense. And we also had to do some water sampling on adjacent property that was impacted by some of the drilling with the micro piles. And we also did do some turbidity containment as part of it. So again, increase of $50,000 on that project.
Any questions for Kirk?
I don't have a question, but just as a heads up to staff and my colleagues, we'll have to break that in half on Monday. I have to abstain on that vote because Lobar is owned by members of my family.
Kirk, what was the cost to remove the rock ledge by order of DEP?
$29,784.
Thank you.
All right, any other questions for Kirk? All right, thank you, Kirk. We'll move on to Sue Carbaugh to discuss the agreements for early intervention and intellectual and developmental disabilities. Sue?
Yes, good morning. The first contract for early intervention is with UPMC Pinnacle Hospital's Infant Development Program. It is for an increase of $46,804. And that is for their services around evaluations, occupational, physical, and speech therapies. And these are all due to additional services that have been authorized for the children. For intellectual and developmental disabilities, the contract is with Marquis, Pennsylvania. It is an increase of $18,274. They provide residential homes for us. And this increase is for some residential renovations to a home that they have down in Shippensburg. Any questions?
Okay, thank you very much, Sue. Okay, Jody Smith is with us to discuss the agreement with Transunion for the Sheriff's Office.
Good morning, Commissioners. The contract that you have before you is for Transunion. We enter this contract in conjunction with the Warrants Collection Unit. TLO, Transunion for short, allows us to perform web-based searches from various databases to gather information such as last known telephone numbers, addresses, family members, relatives, etc., to aid us in locating subjects for bench warrants or civil process. There is a slight increase in this year's contract due to the Warrant Collection Unit adding a seat to the contract. Do you have any questions?
Okay, looks like no questions, Jody. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, we'll move on then to agenda item number 7. And this is a request for a motion to reaffirm the DCED grant regarding the COVID-19 Hospitality Industry Recovery Program, or CHIRP for short. The application was announced on February 10th and it was due on February 11th. So our application has been submitted. The grant application requested $2,869,761. I didn't say that right. $2,869,761. Do you have any questions about the grant? And then, I'm sorry, Commissioner Fauci.
Stacy, can you give those February 10th and 11th dates again?
Yeah, they announced the application. The application portal opened on February 10th, and we were required to apply by February 11th, which is why you didn't in advance approve the submittal of the application. Very quick turnaround.
Okay, yes, I appreciate your work on that. This is important money, and boy, it sounds like it was less than 24 hours. So that's pretty tight.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yep, so this is an action requested item for the day.
Okay, do we have a motion for approval to the reaffirmation of the DCED grant as specified?
Yeah, so moved.
Second.
It's moved and seconded. If there's no further questions, all in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any noes? It passes unanimously. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, I'll call on Commissioner DiFilippo to discuss the appointment recommendation of the chair to the Agricultural Land Preservation Board. Commissioner?
Yeah, thanks, Stacy. Each year the Ag Board meets, or in one of their meetings, it was our last meeting, February 10th, to appoint their officers for the year. They have the authority to appoint their vice chairman, which is Gary Martin, and the secretary, which is Denny McCulloch. The chairman of the Ag Board has to be approved by the chairman of our Board of Commissioners, though I know since I've been in office, it's been a vote of all three commissioners. I don't care how we do it, but the board unanimously recommended that Diane continue as chairperson, and she has done a fine job. And I highly recommend to my colleagues that we reappoint her as chairman for the upcoming calendar year.
Okay, thank you, Commissioner. Agenda item number 9 is Commissioners' Liaison Reports, and I'll start by calling on Commissioner Eichelberger.
Okay, let me flip over here. There we go. All right, let's see. Not a lot to report. The MHIDD meeting is today. Katie, you were all in attendance at the board meeting, so we did have a policy and planning committee meeting last week. We continue hammering out the work plans for the final version of the blueprint. That's moving along nicely now. I did want to mention that Washington County recently had a Zoom meeting with our senior staff over at CADIC in regards to some changes they want to make on economic development, and they were directed toward our shop as somebody they definitely wanted to talk to and how to organize that and be successful in it. So I'm told it was a very successful meeting. I was not part of it, but I'm told they're pretty happy. And their commissioners were in attendance, or 2 of their commissioners were in attendance, and they will likely be reaching out to us maybe for a little additional insight into that. But all by all accounts was very nice. And of course, it's always very flattering to have other counties look to us as a pace setter on how this is done, especially in Pennsylvania. The other item, I did get a written update from Justin Miller. The recycling authority meeting was canceled on Monday night, but he did send me a written summary. Just mentioned that it's been rather quiet with the weather in terms of the e-cycling. Said it's been slower than normal, but given the weather, that's not entirely surprising. Still averaging 1,810 pounds per day in February. It did really well in January, 2,387 pounds per day. So they are. He also provided me a chart that I'll share with everybody. It's somewhat interesting. So also mentioned that they've opened the registration for the household hazardous waste events. Since we approved that at our last meeting. Right now they got, as of yesterday, 52 individuals have signed up. I don't know if that's just for the first one or if that's spread out over the group. They tend to be staggered. So obviously a lot of interest remains in that. So we continue to look forward to more successful events on that front. That's everything I have.
Okay, thank you, Commissioner Eichelberger. Commissioner Fauci.
On this beautiful snowy day where we are inside, it is a great day to go to the Cumberland County Library System's website and take advantage of some of their offerings. If you need to factor a trinomial or possibly do some calculus today, this would be a day to really learn about that, as well as many other things. As always, I am impressed with the offerings of the Cumberland County Library System. I just left our planning board meeting, and boy, that's another really impressive group of individuals, and they work together so nicely, and I'm very impressed with their progress and really how progressively they're thinking about conservation in our environment. And this morning they voted to go ahead and take a look at their conservation plan and what they want to do with green space and return on environment. So I'm anxious to see what comes out of that group. They really think very hard, and they're pretty far thought out on things. So I think the last time we did this, I reported, or maybe it was 2 meetings ago, I reported that I had reached out to Representative Delozier and had introduced her to our department heads in the human services area, because as we know, human services in Cumberland County are asked to do more and they are flat funded. So we did indeed receive an email from Representative Delozier saying she would set up a meeting, and as of this morning, that is not done yet. So I want to go ahead and report back on that. I do know it's budget time, but certainly right now would be the time to be speaking with our human services department heads about what is going on and what their needs are. And that's all I have.
Okay, thank you, Commissioner Hashi. Commissioner DiFilippo.
Hello, yes, just want to report there's a housing and redevelopment meeting at noon today. I will be attending. Excuse me here. Okay. I attended the last CapCog meeting, which was earlier this week. Main point of business was approving various bids for items such as stormwater boxes, manhole castings, risers, guide rails, wastewater and pool chemicals, landscape materials, line painting, road materials, and traffic signs. There was also a legislative report. Again, the Pennsylvania General Assembly is trying to pass the approval for municipalities to use radar. Pennsylvania is the only state in the country that does not permit this, so hopefully it will get done. Also a reminder, the CapCog dinner is on March 15th at the Radisson. They are under 100-person maximum. So I know I am not going to be able to attend due to a pre-planned family event, but Gary and or Jean, if you can attend, that would be great. If not, you know, so be it, but they are maxed out at 100 for the event. The County Ag Preservation Board met on February 10th in addition to the request for recommendations of their officers. All offers on the 2019 farms have been made. The ranking committee will get together in early March to review the 27 applicants that came in 2020, and we'll rank them at that time. Some other minor stuff done at the meeting, but that was the main points of the Ag Preservation Board. And that's all I have, Stacy.
Thank you, Commissioner DiFilippo.
Welcome.
I would like to report that executive sessions were held on February 16th, 2021 at 1 p.m. regarding real estate, and February 17th, 2021 at 9:30 a.m. regarding personnel. Is there any additional business that needs to come before the board today?
I just mentioned that Jean must be right. That planning commission meeting must have been really good because Kirk is smiling year to year. That's all.
Okay. Hearing no additional business to come before the board, we will adjourn.
Thank you.
Stacy, do you want some of us to stay on for the executive?
Yeah, I think it's just easiest to stay on this one, and then once everybody else is out. Hey, Teresa,